All right. So, discipline is so easy, you guys. So remember, you're creating clarity. But I'm gonna set up one little tidbit before. I know we're talking about discipline, but we gotta frame it real quick. I want you guys to take this to the extreme. I want you to think about this kind of underlying theme for your employees. Everybody wants to do a good job. Every single person on your team, they want to do a good job. They want to please you. Now, you have to believe this. You don't have a choice. You have to believe that they want to do a good job. And I'll explain why. If you start to doubt it, if you start to think, oh, this person is trying to rip me off, right? Then you're gonna start thinking they're lazy and they're, trying to steal from me and they're like not doing they're not doing good work, and every time I turn my back, they're doing whatever, right? You know what I mean? You are never going to be able to delegate anything. You're never going to be able to grow your organization. You're constantly going to be living in this like kind of paranoid world where everybody is against you, right? That is not a good place to be. You need to like seek some extra special help. No, I'm just saying. You need to change your perspective. Not seek help. I'm just saying you need to change your perspective here because, again, you're not going to attract the best people if they think that you believe that they're all doing a shitty job, right? Now, believe me, I get into the space. I have the best people working for me. I know it's true. I have the best people. I'm lucky. And stuff goes wrong, right? And I get frustrated. The footer's wrong, right? And I promise you, the reason for my frustration 90% of the time is because I didn't get enough sleep, I'm hungry. Usually it's those two. Or I'm upset about something in my personal life, but most of the time it's I didn't get enough sleep or I'm hungry. So, and I see the footer and I can freak out about it, right? Or I can be like, they want to do a good job. Obviously there's a problem with the footer. They don't know what is the right footer. They're getting confused. It might be labeled wrong, whatever. And I keep on sending back, not this footer, not this footer, not this footer. They don't know what I'm talking about, right? So I need to walk over to them and fix this, right? You know what I mean? So there's lots of ways you could be about it. And if I thought, they're just trying to fuck with me, sorry. I have the worst potty mouth ever. I'm so sorry. I really apologize. If I just think that they're just, trying to mess with me and, they're trying to take advantage or like trying to make me, then I'm just going to go down this nasty spiral, right? And I'm never going to win. Do you guys see what I'm saying? And I promise you, like the days I feel like the world's against me and no one can do anything right is probably the day I skipped lunch and didn't sleep well the night before, right? It's always that way. And then I'm like, okay, I need to go to bed tonight. Tomorrow will be a better day. Eat a good breakfast. I'll be ready to go, right? So if you believe, and it's really hard to sometimes, trust me, it's really, really hard to believe believe that everybody wants to do a good job. When you're looking at someone and they're just like, you're like, oh, I already talked to you about this. You said you agreed, and now you're right here. You know, like, sometimes I want like a ruler to, but no, we don't do that. I can still think those things, right? For a moment. So, what happens is, I take a deep breath. I already had the conversation, I created clarity, and the discipline is hard on me. It's not hard on them, right? And after a while, I've done discipline for a long time now. I'm not going to say. A long time. So they are getting disciplined for the first time, right? But I have all this anxiety built up about it, right? And you're going to be like, oh, God, you're going to go talk to them, and they're going to freak out. They're going to yell at you. They're going to be like, no, I didn't. You know, and just be this, you're playing out this whole scenario about this person, and you create all this charge around it, right? So you're just going to keep it simple. You're going to take a deep breath without any charge, and you're going to say, hey, you were late today. Remember that conversation we had when I said that you need to be on time, and you agreed to be on time? They're like, yes. Now, if anyone says no, you're fired. They don't remember that conversation where they agreed. It's an unworkable situation, because now you're dealing with a liar, and I have no patience for liars.
Would it not be effective to ask them initially upfront why were they late today? Maybe they had a very good reason.
Well, we're getting to that, but I was just saying, I asked them, do you remember our conversation about how important it is to be on time? And if they say, no, I don't remember that conversation at all. And after, you know, they remember you had that first clarity conversation. Do you remember that? No? Yes? Okay, let me take a step back. I'm taking a step back. Okay, I'm repeating it, because everybody hears things different, right? So the first time they're late, you're like, oh man, I'm sorry. I wasn't clear when you first started. You got to be here on time. Here's why. Do you agree? Can you make it here on time? And they say yes, right? Great. Everybody's on the same page. The next time they're late, you say, hey, I noticed you were late today. No big deal, right? I noticed you were late today. Do you remember that conversation we had the other day when I told you how important it is for you to be on time, that, you know, we're on time here? If they say no, that's an unworkable situation. Does that make sense? Because they already committed, right? They said, yes, I commit. Yes, I agree. They remember, right? It's just like when you loan someone money, like, or someone owes you money, every time they see you, and if you like haven't paid them, all you think is, oh, I owe that person $20, right? They remember. It's just, that's the way it is. They did not forget. And now they're just like playing games with you, and it's unworkable. But most people don't do that. Like 99% of the people don't do that. They'll be like, yes, I remember. So, what's the deal? Why were you late? Right? Now, this is where a little human compassion and rational thinking comes into play. So, they're late because of traffic, because their alarm didn't go off. They're late because their mom died. Come on, you guys. You know, if they're late because their mom died, you say, go home, what are you doing here? You know, if they're late because of traffic, I don't buy that. Unless there was like a 15-car pile up, right? You know what I mean? I've heard like all the I always say there's lots of reasons why but you still needed to be here. I'm here, right? If I'm here, you can be here, right? But yeah, there's some compassion involved, right? So if you're not buying what they're selling, then you say, you have some disciplinary tools available to you. You can give them a final warning. Like, if someone's late, I'm not going to give them a final warning because it's not, like, for us, it's not that big of a deal, right? You're late, whatever. I don't care that much about punctuality. It's not like a super value unless you have an appointment which you were late to, and then I make it a big deal. But I have some, we have tools. So if let's see, there's final warning. Like, if you do this again, you will be fired, right? So if someone is violent with someone else, like they yell at someone else, and I'm like, remember that conversation we had about yelling? We don't yell with someone. I have a strict policy about no yelling, or threatening. And if they do it again, I'm like, you will be fired. Are we clear? And then I write it up in an email and send it to them and say, we had a conversation, you did this. If you do it again, you will be fired. Please respond that you acknowledge my email, right? All done. And it's just that simple. And I don't get into the drama of it all. I don't get into the he said, she said, whatever. I was clear with you, and you did it again. Right? Do you guys understand that? Okay. But this is up to you. This is your discretion. So there's that. That's the final warning. Maybe someone just can't do the job that you gave them to do. So I'll give you an example. We send out emails to our customers, and for some, we have a whole email checklist. And for some reason, it's really hard for people to send out emails. It's actually super stressful to send out an email to our customers, all of our customers. We have a big customer list, and there's like this long checklist, and like you have to make sure the from email address is right, and the links are all right, and like all of these different things, and then it's not going to go to spam, and it's complicated, and there's no spelling errors. Anyways. And so the person who sends our emails sent the email out wrong. And then I said, okay, did you follow the checklist? Because if you follow the checklist, I was clear, okay, make sure you follow the checklist. Because if you follow the checklist, you'll send the email out right every time. It's like kind of, like pre-flight checklist. If you go through the checklist, then your plane works and you don't crash the plane, right? It's the same thing. This is the email checklist. And she goes, okay, yes, I will follow the checklist. I skipped that step. I did. I know. I was in a hurry and I skipped the step. I will follow the checklist next time. I said, okay. The next time she sent an email, not the next time, but like, whatever, 2 months later, she sent an email. She actually picked the wrong email. She sent an email to all of our clients telling them that their credit cards got declined. We actually ended up collecting a lot of money. It was like, I don't know, I think we collected like $30,000 because like everyone, like so many people went in and updated their credit card. What? No, no. She was so mortified. But she's not allowed to send emails anymore. We took away responsibility. Does that make sense? She's not a bad person. She's just not able to do that part of her job anymore, right? Does that make sense? She can do so many other things, just not that, right? So that's kind of discipline. So we call that relief of responsibility. We went over final warning, relief of responsibility, and then there's the 30-day warning, which is my favorite type of discipline to use. And again, these are things that you'll only use that 5% of the time because clarity handles 95% of it. The 30-day warning is if someone's performance isn't going very well, or their behavior isn't very good, or I don't know, anything. We use it like someone has a bad attitude. We'll give them a 30-day warning and say, hey, this is not how we act around here. We expect a professional demeanor. This is how you're behaving, and we expect that. Like we do a this, not that sort of a thing. Like listing it all out and say, over the next 30 days, we expect a total turnaround in your professional demeanor, or you can't work here anymore, right? If someone was, if someone is falling behind in their workload, like that person whose list keeps on getting longer and longer and longer. Remember on the weekly accountability emails, if they're, what I'm committed to do next week is getting longer and longer because what they did this week is getting shorter and shorter. I might give them a 30-day warning to turn it around and say like, okay, I need you to do, here's what I need you to do every week for the next 30 days, or this is what I do is, this is what I need you to do every day for the next 30 days, right? Because I'm paying them for a service, right? And if they can't perform that service, I need the service done, right? And I explain that to them. It's not about whether I like you or not, but I'm paying for a service. And if it's just like the phone company. If the phone company stops working, right? Like if I don't have a signal most of the time, I'm going to switch carriers. That's what's happening here. You're the phone service, I'm paying you, and I'm not getting a signal. So you need to perform. I expect you to do these things daily, right? And I'll give them a chance to turn it around. Yes?
How do you respond to the argument that I hear often? Well, we don't have a large pool of qualified people, so we have to put up with less than stellar behavior.
In Santa Barbara, we do not have a large pool of engineers. That was our main problem being in Santa Barbara. There's no software engineers. Actually, there's no designers, there's no software engineers, and right now there's no accounting people. But it's hard. It's a lot like here. It's a small town, and it's a college town. There's, they say it's a town of the students and the elderly, pretty much. That's what it's like. And so we have to recruit from outside of the area. We have to bring people in to Santa Barbara. And so we focus on all the benefits of living in Santa Barbara and why, and the qualities of why Entreport is awesome and why they should work here, and yada, yada, yada. And that's what we focus on. We recruit from outside of our area because the world's a large place, and there's qualified candidates in the world, right? And people be very excited to move here to work for you versus the jerk they're working for right now, right? Yeah? Any questions on this kind of step 2 part of the discipline? No? Yes? So we created clarity. It happened again. We gave a clear warning. And we used one of the tools in the clear warning. We either give a final warning. We did a relief of responsibility. We did a 30-day warning. And this is all on page 45 of the book, so you can see that there. And I even included some detailed instructions on page 46 that I give to our managers on how to have disciplinary conversations and how to write a disciplinary letter and all sorts of other stuff for you guys there. And then finally, if they do it again, oh, darn it. So I want to tell you guys a couple of things. So everyone who works for you, I assume they're adults, right? They're 18 years old, and they're adults. They are rational. What? No, they're not adults? All right, but they're rational humans who are making decisions for themselves. They chose to come work for you. They chose to do the job they're doing, and they're making choices in their lives every day, right? Just like you guys made a choice to show up to this workshop today, and after you leave, you'll take or leave what we talked about, right? You'll choose to implement some of these tactics, or you won't, right? It's up to you. Everyone makes choices in their lives all day long. And so if someone, after you've talked to them twice now, two times, about a particular situation, and it happens again, it is a clear choice on their part, and it has nothing to do with you. Sometimes there's lots of reasons why. And I've had long conversations with some of the people I've let go, or fired, whatever you want to call it, at this point about it. And it's so funny. I have a couple stories I'll share about it. Most of the time at this point, people hug me when I fire them. They're so relieved. They want to be fired, literally. So it's a choice, you guys. It's funny. I've had two employees. Actually, no. There's three employees that I've given this conversation to, and it works so well. And I give them the 30-day warning, and it works really well. People who want to leave, they don't want to work for you anymore, right? And I can tell, right? For whatever reason, they don't want to work for me anymore. They feel like they have gotten everything they've wanted to get out of my company, or they are starting their own business and they're scared. They don't want to lose the constant paycheck, or they like the community of friends at Entrepreneur, but they're like over the work, or whatever it is, whatever the case might be. There's lots of different reasons why people don't want to work at Entrepreneur. And so unconsciously, they start slacking off and looking like not doing their best work, right? So I tried it the first time. I sat down with this person, and we're actually friends, and I actually just went to dinner with him and his fiance like a couple of weeks ago. This guy I sat down with, and I said, sometimes, have you ever been in a relationship where, it's kind of getting to the end of the relationship, and you can either be the asshole who cheats on the girlfriend so she breaks up with him, right? Or you can be the good guy who breaks up with her and then you can remain friends. What kind of boyfriend do you want to be? And he's like, I want to be the friend boyfriend. And I said, yeah, I think you do too. And he's like, so should I give my notice? I said, yes. And I've had I've had it with a gal, one of our designers, actually. She was just like totally slacking off, totally not doing the same amount of work that the other designers were, and calling in sick a lot and stuff like that. You just know, and people are just over it. She's worked for us for like 4 years, and she's just, She was just over it. You know, sometimes that's just the case. And I'm like, hey, Jan. I mean, there was no clarity conversation or anything. I had the same conversation with her. I shouldn't say people's names, but I'm like, hey, Jan. And I went through the whole thing, and she's like, Lena, I don't want to leave. I like everyone here, but I just don't like the work anymore. I'm like, well, what do you want to do? She's like, I don't know. I want to like design like band covers and like travel. I'm like, okay, go do that. She's like, but I need to make money. I'm like, have you heard of Dribble? Like, you're an awesome designer. Put your name up on Dribble and see what happens. Like, put your name up on Dribble and let me know in a week. She did that, and like on Monday, she gave her 2-week notice. Seriously, like sometimes you just need a encouragement to push people out the door, right? But you just need to pay attention. Like people, you don't necessarily have to fire people. Sometimes you just need to push them out the door, right? Let them learn to fly, right? Does that make sense? And I'd rather have people leave. My goal every time is to have people leave better than I found them. Doesn't always work, but that's the goal, right? So I think that's it with the discipline.